We'll start our front page review with the Nation major headline. Senate passes state police bill. That's a big deal. And then advertorial that has always been there, which we will ignore. EFCC to arraign U.S. blacklisted terrorism financing suspects. And then LPPC bars Ezekome from using SAN title. El Rufai faces fresh 11-count charges with 5 others. And there's a picture, measurable changes, legal style of assembly, and much more. However, the stories that are very, very important, which one should we start with, State Police or EFCC?
Yeah, start with the State Police. So the Senate yesterday passed the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria Alteration State Police Bill 2026. The executive bill transmitted by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was read for the first time on Tuesday. Preliminary legislative work was concluded before yesterday's extensive debate and eventual passage. Now, leading the debate, Senate leader Opeyemi Bamidele described the bill as historic and said it required urgent consideration because of the security challenges facing the country. To guarantee increased funding for law enforcement, the Senate also passed the bill raising the allocation to the Nigeria Police Trust Fund from the Consolidated Revenue Fund from 0.5% to 1%. So the debate and passage of the State Police Bill was witnessed by senior federal government officials and governors. They said it also included Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, Governors Uba Sani from Kaduna, Lucky Aiyedatiwa Ondo, and Dapo Abiodun Ogun. They also said that Chairman of the Senate on Power, Senator Naya Abaribe, seconded the motion moved by Bamidele, and said they had previously opposed the idea of the state police, but had changed its position because of the worsening security situation across the country. I believe this is a step in the right direction. Let's see how we can, quickly organize the state
execution
security
timeline.
Architecture and the execution timeline, like rightly said.
Okay, I have EFCC is set to file charges against a suspect and 2 companies linked to ISIS as part of an ongoing crackdown on terrorism financing in Nigeria. Yesterday, we had read that the United States government, named a bureau de change company to be associated with funding, ISIS. And then today, our Nigerian government is talking as well. They're saying that the information from the United States has been known to Nigerians, the Nigerian government, before then, because I know a lot of people are asking, why is it when America started talking that the Nigerian government is speaking? They said this is collaborative work that's been ongoing, and they're very much aware of the information that came out yesterday. The EFCC says it will find charges against a suspect with 3 companies linked to ISIS. They confirmed that the commission concluded preparations to prosecute suspects linked to ISIS, and also they are preparing to arraign Bello Abdullahi Bodejo before the High Court in Abuja over allegations of terrorism financing and money laundering involving $2.53 million. He is associated with Miyetti Allah Kautal Hore. The commission filed a 12-count charge against him. They said he receives and possessed large sums of foreign currency allegedly linked to proceeds of unlawful activities in violation of our money laundering act. So here, the report shows, over a period of time, the amount of money that he received, from $100,000 in cash, in January, and then consequently, nearly every other month, there's a $200,000, there's a $980,000. I'm talking about $500,000.
Wow.
And the way the amount was received, first of all, they said the amount that was received, the transfer, is above what our money laundering laws,
So they already disobeyed one.
Yes. But that even the amount of money he was getting, that it was enough for him to know that something is wrong, and that there was a particular $980,000 that he received that must have been obvious to him that it was not from legal activities. So that, anyway.
And I'm sure he didn't register this transaction under the SCOMO, because real estate company as well as bureau de change must register under SCOMO to ensure that you are anti-money laundering compliant.
So EFCC saying they've done their investigations and they have grounds to prosecute him or start persecution.
Well,
prosecution.
Yet again, El-Rufai has been arraigned on fresh charges. Okay. So the former Kaduna State Governor, Nasir El-Rufai, yesterday appeared before two separate courts in Kaduna State over alleged abuse of office, money laundering, and corruption. Both matters are joined for further proceedings. At the Federal High Court, El-Rufai was arraigned alongside his former special advisor, Jimmy Lawal, and 5 corporate entities on an amended 11-count charge. While El-Rufai pleaded not guilty to count 1 of the charge, Lawal pleaded not guilty to count 6, 7, and 8, while one of the corporate defendants, Singularity New Network Security Limited, was arraigned on counts 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, and 11. The prosecution listed El-Rufai, Lawal, and the 5 corporate entities as defendants in the matter, alleging various offenses connected with abuse of office and financial impunity, misappropriation. Well, the case came up before Justice Hawa Buhari, who is counsel to El-Rufai and Lawal, informed the court that they filed separate bail applications on behalf of their clients, but the July 1st has been, the matter has been adjourned to July 1st for ruling on the applications. Okay. It just seems like every day there's one thing.
El-Rufai is on the radar.
He's on the radar. Oh, goodness.
You conspicuously left out a particular story that is from your legal learned senior.
I did that on purpose.
I know. So, Ezekome. When I saw that, I was like, well, how come Amaka didn't take the story? Anyway, Legal Practitioners and Privilege Committee have barred Chief Mike Ezekome from using the title SAN, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, because they are pending. They say this is until the Disciplinary and Ethics Subcommittee of the LPPC and other proceedings conclude their findings. And for now, they said he shouldn't parade himself, present himself, or otherwise hold himself out as a Senior Advocate of Nigeria, pending determination of the disciplinary proceedings. Also, he has a case as well with Ponfa Hussaini being prosecuted before the High Court of the FCT in Abuja, and that all of those are together. Why I think that it's important we take stories like this, not because of Ezekome's positioning, but the fact that the legal profession is also being internally regulated, and we know that before, but we must always highlight it so that those that have issues with any lawyer or can take it up officially. We'll take a break right now. When we return, we'll continue with Front Page Review. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. We'll continue Front Page Review with the Punch major headline. State Police Bill lands in state assemblies. Senate passes historic bill manually as electronic voting fails. Lawmakers back decentralized policing to tackle terrorism, banditry, and kidnapping. Bill empowers governors to appoint police commissioners as Senate adopts safeguards against abuse. Then we have EFCC to arraign Miyetti Allah leader in $2.53 million laundering probe. Reps extend probe to airports, seaports, concessions. Abduction crisis, Oyo begs NUT to end school shutdown. ISIS funding, federal government set to charge US-sanctioned BDC operator. Petrol remains pricey as crude crashes to $73 per barrel, and top banks raise tech budget by 43% in Q1. What story do we start with?
Let me take the abduction crisis. So the Oyo State Executive Council has appealed to the NUT, Nigerian Union of Teachers, to allow students to go back to school and discontinue the disruption of academic calendar. They said that, first of all, as we know, the NUT had directed teachers in public schools in the state to shun classrooms following the May 15th abduction. We all know the story, and we know that they're still ongoing in captivity. But the government is asking them to rethink this because of all the other children in the other schools. Just allow them to continue. But the NUT says, you know, what they're staying away or come back is hinged on, first of all, government putting adequate security measures in place, and that you know, the decision to withdraw teachers from classrooms was because of the growing insecurity. Even those in captivity, we know that a teacher was killed. I don't even like to use that word, but that's what happened. So I hear the state government in wanting the school calendar to continue, but I don't think the NUT is saying anything wrong by saying it's not like we don't want to go back, but put the necessary things in place to make sure that we are
feel
protected.
Like they're moving on, and those teachers are also captives.
It's not even that, is that there was a time we're discussing what to do in fighting insecurity with the abductees, and we're talking of collateral damage. Whose child are you going to use as collateral damage?
Which parents? The teachers.
So please make sure those things are put in place. As badly as I feel that other children are at home, there's so much that needs to be done. What if they open the schools and then another abduction happens?
Sadly, it's affecting more of public schools than private schools. Some private schools are still operating and have more security beefed up within their facilities within Oyo State.
So the state should do better.
Yeah, okay. I have a story here. The price of petrol has remained high, even as crude oil prices crashed to $73 per barrel on Wednesday, their lowest level since the U.S.-Iran conflict began in February. So according to oilprice.com, that's oilprice.com, crude oil fell from 76.75 per barrel on Tuesday to 73.50 on Wednesday, extending the decline in oil prices since the United States and Iran signed a peace deal. However, petrol prices have yet to drop in line with the latest crude oil rates. They said as of Wednesday, many filling stations were still selling petrol at about 1,205 naira per litre, a price many consumers said does not reflect current global oil prices. Now, following the drop in the crude oil price from a high of about $120 per barrel during the United States-Iran conflict to around $73 to a barrel after a peace deal was reached June 14, they said many Nigerians expected petrol prices to fall below 1,000 per litre. That expectation is yet to materialize. Now, recently, Dangote Refinery reduced its petrol gantry price by 75 naira per litre from 1,250 to 1,175, prompting importers to also adjust their own prices downward. So I think we should just be a bit patient. When these things happen in a few days, it doesn't just immediately reflect.
They are quick to go up.
I know, but that's how life is. They still need to sell out some of their stock before they start reflecting the price. So let's give them a few more days and see if it will go down or not.
All I can say is, the chairman of the House of Representatives ad hoc committee, they are investigating the airport and seaport concession agreements. Mr. Kolawole Akinlayo, he has explained why the panel is yet to submit a report to the House, because we've been waiting for this report too, saying it's still carrying out extensive investigations into the operations of key stakeholders covered by its mandate. So the House of Representatives in February 2026, they had inaugurated the ad hoc committee to investigate all federal airports and seaport concession agreements executed between 2006 and 2025. The probe is aimed at determining the level of compliance with contractual obligations, assessing revenue remittances to the government, and evaluating the impact of the agreements on infrastructure development across the country's aviation and maritime sectors. Although since its inauguration, the committee has held a series of meetings and investigative sessions with both government agencies, concessionaries, and other stakeholders involved in the management of airport and seaport facilities. They said that they will provide an update on the progress of the exercise very soon, that they are close to concluding the first phase, and we cannot wait. We are waiting patiently to read and see this results, this report.
Oh, yeah. So I saw the story about the banks raising their budget for tech, and the top banks in Nigeria have spent 35 billion naira more in the first quarter of this year, representing 43% increase in their budget towards technology. They said they spent this money on software, IT, and related digital infrastructure. Now, my challenge is that money went out of our economy because majority of the infrastructure that protects our system are being controlled, or they were created by foreign nationals. And so, yes, more money going out, but more assets by the bank being secure. Moving on to Daily Sun, major headline. Senate clears way for state police, passes bill. We've taken that story already. Then we have Governor Mbatu criminals. You can run, but you can't hide. Kebbi raises alarm over emergence of new terror group. Sai Malam kills 4 gunmen and recovers arms in Anambra State. Then we have NDLEA destroys industrial met lab in Oyo Forest, arrest Mexican experts and 4 Nigerians. We'll see who gets INEC access code. Wike turns as Turaki-led PDP unveils 28 gubernatorial candidates and 469 National Assembly candidates, while they have 993 State Assembly candidates for the 2027 elections. Defamation. Kwakwanso threatens 10 billion naira suit against Primate Ayodele over claims he was paid to be Obi's running mate. Final story, NEMA, World Bank moves to review Nigeria's disaster management blueprint. What story can we take?
We have Mba blowing hot. That's Peter Mba of Enugu State. He said there's no more hiding place for criminals in the state, as his administration has built its capacity to preempt, track down, and bring them to book. He sounded a warning yesterday during the commissioning of the Center for DNA Forensics and Criminal Investigation, a strategic partnership between the Enugu State government, the Godfrey Okoye University, and the Nigerian DNA Learning Center at the university's complex, Uguomu Nike, in Enugu. So they said that even the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Prince Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, Inspector of General Police as well, Olatunji Disu, and the Vice Chancellor of Godfrey Okoye University, Enugu. Also, Professor Christian Anyeke, you were present, and they lauded Governor Mba's stride in the security sector, describing the center as a major contribution to national security and the justice system. So he described the center as one of the most important investments by his administration in the state security architecture, in line with the Citizens Charter, noting that none of these ambitions will be possible without security. And he says, while his administration has significantly reduced crime, more work still needs to be done. And so they are going to continue to invest, to continue to innovate, continue to strengthen the system that keep the people safe. And you know, that was why they had the center.
Okay.
Fantastic.
So the Kebbi state government has raised alarm over the emergence of a new terror group identified as Saimalam in the states, right? And they're said that they were discovered a while ago, and now they've noticed that they've reared their ugly heads again, and that they use blood for sacrifices among their members.
Wow.
Yes, yeah, but the IGP is saying that is emphasizing the importance of collaboration among security agencies, intelligence sharing, and involvement of traditional rulers in addressing insecurity. You know, they also said that he also stressed that the need. He was represented by DIG Abdul, who said that the IGP has stressed the need to strengthen security around waterways and riverine communities to block channels used by criminals to transport weapons. You know, also saying that the implementation of handshake patrols must extend beyond land routes bordering Sokoto and Zamfara to include coordinated joint operations along river entry points linking neighboring jurisdictions. You know, and that they also have to ensure that tactical teams maintain constant communication with commands to deny criminal opportunities to exploit jurisdictional boundaries. But he also commended officers of the command for their resilience and successes in combating crime, urging them to sustain the momentum.
Okay.
Yes.
Can we take the NDLEA story? Yes, so NDLEA bust a fortified industrial-scale methamphetamine lab operated by Nigerian Mexican cartel deep within the forest of Tapa village, Ibarakpa, North Local Government area of Oyo State. And this is barely 4 weeks after the agency dismantled a similar massive meth lab in the forest in Ijebu East in Ogun State. They said this is it's so huge. Wow. It's a proper, an industrial plant that had been put in place. Yes, the people who have been, those that have been arrested. There's the Mexican, I don't know why I've missed his name somewhere. He's a 56-year-old Jose Villa Ochoa. He was brought in specifically to provide technical expertise for large-scale synthesis. And then they had 4 Nigerian collaborators that were arrested. Maxwell Uche, Nevo, he's 30, Olatunji Yusuf, he's 37, Bankole Akim Owolabi, 45, and Ganiu Monsiu, 43. Thank God that they were able to get them. But because
Meth
of time.
lab, industrial
like
meth
the
lab.
quantity
When I saw it yesterday,
the boldness.
I was like, has this become, is this what is happening in Nigeria now? Because Nigeria, we know how to do everything extra.
So now, what we need to do is find how we can infiltrate this forest.
This a lot is happening inside this forest.
Boko Haram, insurgency. Now,
Everybody.
for me, the worst one, you now add drugs.
Drugs.
So now when we watch all these Mexican, South American drugs,
crime follows those things.
they do it in the forest. So is that what is going to become of our country? What are we going to fight with? What are we going to deal with? Is
Honestly,
it the
those
insurgency or
questions-
the drugs?
Those questions definitely in the heart of many Nigerians, but we're happy that NDLA keeps on covering them, and I'm sure it's with the support of other Nigerians who are seeing something and saying something. So continue to give information, because you can never tell how many lives you're saving. That's all we can take on Front Page Review for today. We'll take a break. When we return, we continue with the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.